So this presentation is made by David Wineland, and it is Raising Schrodinger's Cat. I met him after the presentation. He's a really cool, humble guy. If you ever get the chance to meet with him, you totally should. This also says that all the following slides are part of his presentation and that they don't belong to me. So the analogy he's trying to make with Schrodinger's cat is that they're not just using one electron or one atom when they're experimenting, but they assume that they are, but in reality that they're not. So he talks a lot about the importance of precise control and isolation on the environment for that. And he kind of gears that analogy through this different analogy where you kind of have a bunch of electrons trapped in a bowl and you're kind of shaking that bowl up, and once in a while an electron will pop out, and this popping out of an electron displays like a stepwise graph where you could kind of single out electrons. He also talks about his association with NIST and his single mercury ion experiment deals with lasers and bouncing off. But anyway, this could excite or ground determining on the ion placement by exciting this proton. So that's like the main concept of it. And that's also how Schrodinger cat involves. Like, you never know if it's going to be excited or grounded. Unless you, I guess metaphorically, unless you open the box. And he kind of concludes with his past and how he is where he is. He talks about his colleagues, NIST, the Nobel Prize ceremony, and again, like, I met him at the end, and he's a really cool person, and I am very honored to meet him, and I hope to meet him again once I understand more of his research. Talk about two lectures that were very important. Unfortunately, I can't talk much about them. One was Soft Matter, Food and Cooking by Alberto Fernandez Nieves. This was a very interesting lecture about the physics, I guess, about cooking. It didn't have a lot about food, but it was still really nice to hear about all these types of matter and viscoelasticity. And the second lecture, which I found really interesting, was The Power of Estimation in Sorting Out Future Options by Tom Murphy. This was an extremely funny lecture. It's all about being relaxed about the math, and I have taken some of his tips on estimation, and they actually have helped. So my favorite presentation is called Baby Galaxies, The First Steps Towards the Milky Way by John Wise. And pretty much what we're looking at is the Milky Way seen from the southern hemisphere and looking at similar galaxies, spiral galaxies, to understand our own. Another thing that we look at is the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy, how one day they will collide. We also look at all these galaxies. There's thousands, maybe even millions of them. And they give us an understanding of the universe. We have the Big Bang, recombination, the Dark Ages, the epoch of reionization, the epoch of galaxy formation, all the way to the present-day universe. And throughout the whole presentation, we look at the merging of dark matter, galaxy clusters, and the rise of many elements, starting with hydrogen and helium, leading to other common elements found in stars and other galaxies. But I really did enjoy this presentation, mostly because I did a presentation similar to this in high school where I did look at galaxy formations and the physics behind them, and I kind of look at the mice galaxy. So I know it got me really interested and also answered a lot of my questions, like where did the elements come from, how did hydrogen form, like according to the presentation, hydrogen formed, like the gas formed from dust particles created by stars. Anyway, I really wish I could talk more about this, and thank you for listening to my presentation.